Hello there, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you are well. Welcome to a video of r/pro revenge, where revenge is best served cold. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Our first story is deny my employee claim and tell me if I don't like it, I can leave. I will withdraw everything from your company and watch you disintegrate. I have a story that started before the COVID pandemic and just concluded a while back. Obligatory first time poster, and English is my third language, so forgive any errors I may make and my use of words. I am typical simple guy who just likes relaxing and was born with the proverbial silver spoon in my mouth. I am the black sheep of my family and a middle child to boot. Double whammy. But I at least have a little brains and some luck, which I kind of use on a day-to-day basis. Due to my parents' connections, I managed to get into a lucrative schools in my country, did my military service, and was promoted upwards a captain, and later on was shipped off to my college, out of country. I have never been too close with many people, apart from my circle of friends, and prefer it that way. After my college, I was employed in government. You guessed it, family connections. And after a few years, was able to use my name to get ahead and meet people who helped me set up several businesses in my area, a coastal city where this story happens. The money I used was generally allowances, small inheritance from my late grandma, and some investments, a fund that was started when I was a baby, and money gifted to me by my family. Basically, an attempt not to leave me broke enough to embarrass them, even though I am a simple, low maintenance fellow. My business is booming, since the coastal area we live in attracts a lot of tourists, local and international, and of course, some locals who wish to mingle with the tourists to get green cards, pen pals, spouses, and such. Typical coastal city, I guess. The incident. As a proprietor of my business, I have most, if not all, of my staff on salary, since it's the best way for them to gain benefits, and is easier for me as a business owner tax-wise. Tipping is more of a gift, typically, since we do not have a tipping culture, and I have my staff on comprehensive medical insurance, which has additional dental and optical on top of the national governmental healthcare medical scheme. Our government hospitals provide all service fees, but wait times for elective surgeries are, exhausting. We also have a mandatory legal requirement to provide employees with retirement benefit savings, minimum of 21 working days. I give 30, and my businesses offer paid overtime, unhindered medical leave for surgery and serious conditions, which can be extended, as well as allowances to seek treatment, such as chemo or dialysis. One of my female employees, an older lady who is brilliant and has since moved up the ranks to manager and was adored by all, was booked for a hysterectomy, since, as she told me, she was at risk for cervical cancer, as her mother had passed away from it a few years back. And since she already had 4 kids, It was the most logical step. She did her due diligence and found a private hospital which was in our system where she could have the surgery done. On the planned date, she applied for leave days, which we obviously rejected, since this fell under the scope of medical leave. She went on to have the procedure successfully and had a quick recovery time. The bill was to be catered for by the company insurance, and we had made sure to get all the necessary pre-authorizations. A few months later, she had come to work looking distraught, and in all honesty, we thought that she had been told that she had gone cancer, since she asked for a day off to go do reviews and tests. But what happened was much worse. She had been given a bill by the hospital since the insurance had refused to pay for it, citing that it was not in the scope of cover. We were livid, since we had made sure everything was in the effing order. I sent my accounts manager to have a talk with the insurance people as we tried to calm her down. The manager came back super angry and told me that basically, after showing them the evidence, the insurance people just told him to buzz off. I decided to personally go visit that office and get a clear understanding of what was happening. They kept me waiting for an hour, and even after that, had the audacity to inform me the director from the head office, who was in the area, had declined to meet with me because he was, quote unquote, busy. I was pissed to high heavens, so I decided to go to their head office in the capital city, a 2-hour flight. The head office was no help and informed me that they had revised their policy and that it was not covered. I asked when the policy was revised, and they informed me a month prior. I informed them that the surgery was done 5 months prior, and we had all the documentations. They claimed that it was 12 months retrospective. I inquired why I was not informed of it, since this was big news, and I have held policies with them, and they told me that they had informed their large clients and would inform the other clients when their insurances were due for renewal. I demanded to speak to their boss, company vice president, since the CEO was not around, and they boldly told me they had no time for me, and frankly that, in verbatim, we are a large company and have no time to argue semantics with low-end clients. If you don't like it, you can frankly leave and find a new insurance company. The revenge. If I had initially been pissed, I was now full-blown mad. I was livid and filled with rage. In all my years, I may have experienced some disrespect, and I accepted it to make no problems happen. But this time it went too far. I decided in the heat of the moment to switch everything and be done with them. I flew back home and just plain went to the hospital and settled the bill in full, and took the receipt to my employee, who initially insisted that she would do anything to pay me back. But I refused, since this was in no way her fault, and I'll be damned if she pays for something that was out of her control. I had a few days to cool down and talk with my directors. The words still etched on my mind. I asked how long it would take us to switch to another insurance. They went ahead and checked out a few large rivals of the insurance we had, and discovered that if we switched, it would take 6 months for the new insurance to provide full coverage. The firm we picked, who I'll call New Insurance, offered us a way better deal to the one we had, and not only had comprehensive cover, dental and optical, they also included mental health cover, physiotherapy and occupational therapy cover, dental and optical. rehabilitative services, mobility device acquisition, prosthetics and wheelchairs for some of the disabled employees, smart cards for direct payment on the outpatient visits, kind of like a debit card, and a dedicated team of relationship managers, death and funeral benefits, and an expanded coverage, plus up to 6 dependents, plus spouse cover. It would cost me a little more, but honestly, I didn't really care. The people who dealt with us from our previous insurance, who I'll call old insurance, seemed unfazed that I was pulling my company from them, since they thought we were just a small business. They looked puzzled when I came in with several people and a few boxes of documents. What they failed to realize was that apart from that one business, which is a restaurant, I have 3 popular bars, a cab company, a hotel resort, cleaning service chain, a building and residential guard service, and several rental buildings in the town and around the country. Their shock was compounded when they were informed by the lawyer, who I am, and the shock, awe, confusion of panic when they heard my family name was an extremely satisfying sight. Cue the pleading and attempted negotiations and apologies. It was so big that the news reached their head office, who sent not only their director, the one who was apparently too big to see me, but also their chief legal officer, chief financial officer, and president of the company. I somehow also earned a personalized call from their CEO, who was abroad. No amount of sweet talking was changing my mind, however, and by the end of 6 weeks, we had completely removed ourselves from the old insurance. It was now a waiting game to the beginning of the new insurance cover, and we really hoped that no one would become unwell by that time. But we were ready just in case. In that waiting time, and after the new insurance commenced, I talked to my friends and family on one of my holiday visits. My older brother's kids adore me, and my family kind of realized they were a-holes to me and are trying to re-enter my life. And I thought that was that. Aftermath. My friends and family took my words and also pulled their businesses from the insurance to other insurances. The company took such a huge hit, and when the coronavirus came around, and it was a big deal, they were barely floating. They went into receivership soon and were acquired by the insurance I had moved to, who happened to be their greatest rivals. The directors and CEO were given their golden parachutes and resigned, and most of their employees were luckily retained, apart from the senior executives, including the ones who told my manager to buzz off, by the way. In a cruel twist of irony, the building they were operating on in our town was sold, and if you guessed I purchased it, you would be absolutely correct. I decided to remodel the inside and turn it into a business rental space. All in all, it was a bit of sweet payback, and wherever they are, I hope those disrespectful guys learned that everyone is human and that they are not above anyone. And remember that karma is a cold and heartless witch. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. See you next time.